Well, hello, hello, and welcome to the show. I'm Nadia Giordana, and my guest today is author Catherine Wilson. She has a brand new book out, and that book is titled A Trail of Breadcrumbs. Doesn't that sound interesting? Let's go talk to Catherine and find out what this book is all about, and see if you are one of those special people who will want to follow that particular trail of breadcrumbs. Welcome to the show, Catherine.
Thank you so much, Nadia. I'm so honored to be here. It's really exciting for me. So thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you were available for today. Let's get right into talking about your book. What I'd like to hear in the beginning is how this journey of yours began and how the pieces came together. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, I've been writing since I was in eighth grade, which was a while back, and I feel it was probably about 5 years ago that I had quite a stack of mainly poems, but also prose and song lyrics as well. I've written a couple albums and put those out. So my previous production in my career has been music. I came to a point where I really thought, I really want to share these. I've had enough people who've said, "Oh, can I have a copy of that?" And I said, "Sure." And I found myself with my dear friend Linda Brown, who is an amazing teacher of creative writing. She's retired now, but she lives in North Carolina. And I showed up at her house, and she asked what I was doing lately, and I said, "Well, I have this stack of poems, Linda, and I don't know what to do with them. I think I need an editor." And the skies opened up, and I heard angels sing when Linda said, "Well, I have some time. I'll take a look at them for you if you like." So, Linda Beatrice Brown, a wonderful writer, became my content editor. So, we worked for several years, actually, because of the distance, etc., on creating a book and came up with a title. And Linda helped me delineate the chapters, and I had a book. The book is a unique pairing of my work and my dear friend and co-writer Lyndall Johnson. Lyndall is the director of Aslan Institute in Eagan, Minnesota, and for each one of my pieces, Lyndall has written a piece as a psychologist to go through what I'm talking about and allowing the reader to look at their own life and their own experience based on the themes that I'm presenting. My journey was a little hard as a kid. My mother had a mental illness, and so there is a fair amount of trauma in my life. And I know I'm not alone in that, having had childhood trauma and, of course, adulthood trauma as well. But Lyndall has helped me as a teacher, but also a friend. And so we co-wrote this book together. And so the unique opportunity for the reader to not only read my poetic memoir, um, it's called A Trail of Breadcrumbs, a poetic memoir of survival, healing, and spiritual growth. The survival piece was mostly about the hardships that I had as the child of a mother with mental illness. But life gives us all kinds of trauma. We all suffer from something in our lives. And so the book's purpose became for me to tell my story. We all need stories. We all learn from stories, and we all get released from that feeling of being alone in our suffering when we hear others' stories. So we can say, "Oh, me too." So that was sort of the un unfolding of the process.
Oh, that I can see how that makes a nice circle of support and help with the beginnings and the springboarding of the book. Uh, as I recall going through the book, there are some workbook like sections or pieces or chapters in the book. Can you give me a little bit of a rounded out description of what that one of those might look like and how a reader might make use of it?
Certainly. Um, there's quite a few themes in the book besides my dealing with trauma, surviving trauma. There are themes of about being a mom, themes of being a grandma. There's themes of helping my mother and coming to a healing place with her in her last years. And there's a general spiritual thread through it. I won't say religious, but spiritual thread. There are themes around how nature has helped me. And so those are fairly universal themes. And so as Lyndall follows my story through the book, she will sometimes give some commentary, give her insights as a psychologist, but she will also suggest writing prompts for the reader. She'll suggest going outside and observing nature for yourself, etc. So she really follows me through my process of over 40 years of my life. And so there are prompts, there's invitations to write about things, there's invitations to research certain things, and it would take me too long to tell you all of those, but throughout the book, we have a little part in the beginning that says there's many ways to read the book and use it. But my poetic memoir is matched with her insights. And if people want, they can read through my story first and then go back and do their own inner inquiry afterwards. Or if you get grabbed by a theme, Lyndall's piece is right there and you can dive in. So it's quite handy that way because she just tracks me all the way through.
I like the way that makes your book more engaging for readers because it's one thing to sit and thumb through and read through a book and yeah, that's good and this is good and whatever it is. But I think the way you're engaging the reader uh, helps that reader absorb
Mhm.
and remember and come away with, like you say, healing right there on the spot while reading the book. So I love that aspect of your book. Uh, what would you say? Is there a target audience for this book?
You know, that's a good question. And I've thought about that a lot as I've worked on it and begun getting it out into the world. I don't think it's only a women's book. We did our best to address a theme, not a personal experience in that sense. My target audience, I would say, is people who want to grow. This is not a book that's meant to just be the reader be a spectator and then you're done.
Mhm.
We had the honor of having Gloria Karpinski write the foreword of our book. And she says in the book, this is not a book you'll read once and set aside. She said, it's a book to be used. It's a book that you buy one for your friend, but you keep your own copy. That was an honor to have her say that. And so I think our target audience is anyone who is in a place where they want to grow. You don't have to be an active PTSD treatment, or you don't have to be a mommy. You can be a parent, but we address quite frequently in the book, Lyndall does, about how do we treat the child within us? How do we parent ourselves? How do we interact with others? And so I would say the audience is people on a path of growth, whether that's feeling you're at a crossroads and you're a little lost, or you just want to dig a little deeper into your life and understand yourself better. You want to check in with yourself. I think that's probably the best way to explain it.
That makes good sense to me. Are you co-authors?
Yes,
Yes,
co-author.
okay, that's the way I took it. Uh, Now your book is I'm putting your web addresses. I see you have two of them. One the name of the book, and one I'm that's slipping my mind right now. What was the other one?
That the main website is groundedvisions.com.
That's
Yes.
it, groundedvisions.com. That's what I was trying to bring back to the tip of my tongue.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
where can people, is it on Amazon like a lot of things are these days, or is it better to go to your website?
I think going to the website, especially now, is the best. It's available on Barnes and Noble and some other places, not Amazon at this point in paperback, but we are getting the ebook done, and that will be on Kindle through Amazon. The link on my website will take you straight to my distributor, Itasca, which is a local business here. And I worked with them on my self-publishing process, and they were great.
Well, that sounds good. Well, is there something that I maybe haven't asked or wouldn't think to ask that you particularly want to make sure that the audience knows of?
Well, I think one thing that comes to mind right now, Nadia, is um, the art in the book. The cover is, I just think it's amazing. My friend Michael Putman designed it, and it's beautiful. And he has created some beautiful art in the book. For me, as a poet, poet's a more distilled language. And though I am not a poet who writes so distilled that I don't know what they're talking about. I've read poems like that I just think, I'm not getting it here. I think my poetry is very accessible, and the only thing that rhymes in the book is all my song lyrics. My song lyrics are also in there. When you go to my website, as people read it, you can go to my YouTube channel and hear a lot of the songs if you want to hear the song with music in addition to just reading the lyrics. So the art in the book, it has been important to me, and that's one reason that I was pretty firm about self-publishing. I wanted to get a batch of books printed beautifully because the artwork deserves it. Michael created art that's sprinkled throughout the book for chapter headings, and music and art are more of a right brain uh, focused part of understanding. There's a lot of left brain things that we can read about and learn about growth and spiritual growth, psychological growth, all of that. But art and music can speak in a language that other languages can't, just our left brain language can't reach. And so I really enjoyed having the art, the connection to the music, so that there's a little more balance in how we take in what my our book offers. There's a lot more layers to it than an intellectual exercise.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I did notice what a beautiful cover the book has. And that is one of the things I would have wanted to ask you. Well, is there, if there, no doubt there are some younger authors out there, or even even our age, who are approaching producing their own book for the first time, because people of all ages come to writing in these times. And what kind of sage advice would you give someone who is embarking on such a journey?
Well, I would say first to be sure you know what it is you're trying to give the world. And that will tell you how to put it out there. For instance, I mentioned I wanted to self-publish because I wanted it to come out into the world exactly the way we crafted it. I've talked to other writers who've said things like, and I was at this place as well, I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I don't know who my target audience is. And I have run the gamut with this book actually, all the way from, is this something that I want to simply give my children and my grandchildren or my friends, all the way to I would love for Oprah to find this book because I think it will help people. This book's mission is healing and celebration of authentic self and all of those things that were part of my journey to get to this place where I have so much gratitude for the path I've lived. And if you know that you want to write a bestseller, then I would say study how to do that. Find out, talk to other people like you. I really got so much help from the organization Women of Words here, and that's, of course, limited to women, but it helped me immensely to talk to other writers. And I would say too that there are so many different ways to get a book out there now. If you have a publisher, that's lovely. I learned a lot of things the hard way about what a huge job it is to self-publish a book and do it right. And you need to find good resources to help you do that. There are so many layers. And I would say, as if to other authors, as you write and as your writing begins to form into a book, it really helps, I think, to know who do I want to read this book and how important is it to me that it get printed in a certain way or or batch printed in that sense, or there's a lot of ways that it can just be on demand. I found the quality isn't as good, in my opinion, but it's a very affordable way to do things. So I would say network a lot.
I love the networking advice and get into a good writers group.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for being on the show today. This was wonderful.
Thank you, Nadia. It was a total pleasure. Thank you so much.